The red alert klaxon blared across the bridge of the EDF Thunder. Admiral James Walker gripped the railing as another blast rocked the massive ship. Through the main viewport, he watched helplessly as the Mars colony's defense dome cracked like an egg. The black, insect-like ships of the swarm moved with cold precision, their energy beams slicing through human defenses as if they were made of paper. "Sir, we've lost contact with Outpost 7, reported Officer Bell, her voice steady despite the chaos. The colony governor is requesting immediate evacuation." Walker's weathered face hardened. "Tell him we'll cover as many transports as we can, but they need to launch now." 3 months. That's all it had taken for humanity to be pushed to the brink. The swarm had appeared without warning at the edge of the solar system, destroying the Pluto research station within minutes of first contact. Since then, Earth's unified fleet had fought bravely but futilely against an enemy with superior technology and numbers. Incoming transmission from Earth Command, called Communications Officer Davis. The holographic display flickered to life, showing the grim face of General Rosa. "Admiral, what's the situation?" "Mars is lost," Walker replied bluntly. "We're covering civilian evacuation, but at current rates, we'll save less than 30% of the population." General Rosa closed her eyes briefly. "The Council is meeting now. We need you there, James. Captain Reed will assume command of the evacuation." Walker nodded, though the thought of leaving his post during battle made his stomach turn. Deep beneath Geneva, the Global Defense Council had gathered in their fortified bunker. Representatives from every major Earth region sat around a circular table, their faces illuminated by the blue glow of tactical displays showing the solar system. Red indicators marked the swarm's advance, an unstoppable tide flowing toward Earth. "We should negotiate," insisted Representative Jones, pounding his fist. "Surely they want something we can give them." "They've ignored every attempt at communication," countered Representative Patel. "We should recall all remaining ships to defend Earth. The colonies are already lost." The door slid open, and Admiral Walker entered, still in his battle-stained uniform. Before he could speak, alarms blared across all screens. Dr. Lisa Reed, the head of Alien Technology Research, burst into the room. Her typically neat appearance was disheveled, as if she'd been working for days without rest. "I've found a pattern," she announced without preamble. "The swarm isn't just conquering territory. They're searching for something specific in our solar system." The room fell silent as Dr. Reed displayed her findings, attack patterns that made little strategic sense unless viewed as a methodical search operation. "They're looking for something hidden here long ago," she continued. "Something important enough to cross galaxies for." Captain Tom Miller entered next, his uniform bearing the insignia of the scout ship Swift. At 35, he was young for his rank, but his reputation for survival preceded him. "My team captured this footage near Jupiter's moons," he said, projecting images of a massive ship unlike the others, a central hub directing all swarm activity. "We're calling it the Hive. It's their command center." General Rosa stood. "Then we have a target. One final strike." Hours later, Walker, Reed, and Miller descended in a high-security elevator beneath the Pacific Ocean. They were met by an elderly man in an outdated uniform. "Admiral Marshall," Walker greeted with surprise. "I thought you retired years ago." "Some jobs don't end with retirement," Marshall replied, leading them through a series of security checkpoints to a massive vault door. "What I'm about to show you has been Earth's most classified secret for 50 years. The vault opened to reveal a cavernous hangar. Lights activated in sequence, illuminating something that made even the battle-hardened Walker gasp. A ship, if it could be called that, rested in the center. Its design was like nothing human minds had conceived, with a hull that rippled like water and seemed to shift between states of matter. "We found it buried on Mars in 2080, explained Marshall. "Different aliens than the swarm. We've reverse-engineered some of its technology, but its power source is problematic. Dr. Reed approached it with wide eyes. Project Lazarus. I've heard whispers. It requires direct neural integration with a human pilot, Marshall continued. The few test subjects suffered severe consequences. Captain Miller studied the vessel. But it works? It could fight the swarm? Theoretically, yes. Its capabilities far exceed anything we have. Miller stepped forward. I'll pilot it. The mental strain could kill you, warned Dr. Reed. Miller's eyes remained fixed on the alien craft. If the swarm reaches Earth, we all die anyway. As technicians rushed to prepare the ship, Admiral Walker received an urgent message. The Jupiter defense line had fallen. The swarm would reach Earth within days. Humanity's last hope now rested with a desperate gamble and an alien weapon they barely understood. The medical bay beneath the Pacific complex buzzed with frantic activity as technicians prepared Captain Miller for neural integration with the alien vessel. Dr. Reed supervised the procedure, her face tense as she checked the readouts on her tablet. Your vital signs are strong, she told Miller, who lay on the examination table surrounded by unfamiliar equipment. But I need to be clear about the risks one more time. The neural interface will create a direct connection between your mind and the ship's systems. Previous test subjects experienced hallucinations, memory loss, and in 2 cases, complete neural shutdown. Miller's eyes remained fixed on the ceiling. How many subjects actually managed to pilot the ship? Dr. Reed hesitated. None successfully completed a full flight test. So I'm the first, Miller said with a grim smile. At least I'll set the bar low for whoever comes next. Admiral Walker entered the room, his uniform now fresh but his face showing the strain of sleepless nights. The swarm has breached Saturn's orbit. Our remaining fleets are consolidating at Earth's moon base for a final stand. Then we don't have time for more debate, Miller said, nodding to the medical team. Let's do this. The technicians placed a strange, liquid metal headset over Miller's temples. Unlike human technology, it seemed to flow and adjust itself to the contours of his skull. Dr. Reed activated the sequence from her control panel, and Miller's body tensed as the alien interface began to communicate with his nervous system. Heart rate elevated, reported a medical technician. Brain activity spiking across all regions. Miller's eyes flew open, but they saw nothing in the room. His consciousness was elsewhere, exploring the alien ship's systems, feeling them as extensions of his own body. He gasped, overwhelmed by the flood of information. Captain. Can you hear me? Dr. Reed called, alarmed by his vital signs. Miller's voice came out strained. I can see through the ship. Feel it. It's alive, somehow. That's consistent with our theories, Dr. Reed replied, relief evident in her voice. The technology appears semi-organic. Can you maintain control? Miller didn't answer immediately. When he spoke again, his voice had changed subtly. The ship has memories. It remembers battles. Its previous pilots. A war that spanned galaxies. Walker and Reed exchanged concerned glances. This was unexpected. Stay focused, Captain, Walker commanded. Remember your mission. With visible effort, Miller pulled his mind back from the alien memories. I'm okay. The integration is stabilizing. I think I can control it. 4 hours later, the hangar bay doors opened to the night sky. The alien vessel, now designated Phoenix, hovered silently, its hull shifting between states of matter, sometimes solid metal, sometimes appearing like living tissue. Inside the control chamber, Miller sat connected to the ship through multiple neural interfaces. His eyes glowed faintly with the same blue energy that pulsed through the ship's systems. Admiral Walker's voice came through the communication system. Captain Miller, you are cleared for launch. Earth Defense Fleet will provide cover until you reach the hive. Understood, Miller replied, his voice overlaid with a subtle harmonic quality that hadn't been there before. But I don't think conventional controls will work. This ship, it responds to intention more than commands. Dr. Reed, monitoring from the command center, leaned forward. That's fascinating. The neural link must be translating your thoughts directly into flight actions. Miller closed his eyes, focusing his intention, and the Phoenix responded immediately. It shot upward at incredible speed, passing through Earth's atmosphere in seconds with no sign of the strain such acceleration should cause. In orbit, Miller got his first view of Earth's desperate situation. The remaining human fleet, less than 60 ships, had formed a defensive perimeter around the planet. Beyond them, hundreds of swarm vessels approached in their distinctive formation patterns. I'm picking up something strange, Miller reported. The ship is reacting to the swarm. I think it recognizes them. Before Dr. Reed could respond, the Phoenix's systems surged. Information flooded Miller's mind, data about the swarm, their weaknesses, their history. The ship knew this enemy. They're called the Vex, Miller said, the alien knowledge flowing through him. They're a collective consciousness that consumes technological civilizations. And this ship was built to fight them. As the Phoenix approached the defensive line, Earth's fleet detected its approach. Having never seen anything like it, they reacted with alarm. Unknown vessel approaching at high velocity, came an alert over the common channel. Identify yourself immediately or we will open fire. Admiral Walker's voice cut through the chatter. All vessels, hold fire. That ship is friendly. Repeat, the Phoenix is a friendly vessel. The fleet parted to let Miller pass, and he accelerated toward the approaching swarm, or the Vex, as he now knew them. As the alien ship moved into combat range, Miller felt its weapon systems activating, responding to his thoughts rather than any physical controls. Phoenix engaging the enemy, he reported, as energy began to build within the ship's core. Let's see what this weapon can really do. The space between Earth's defense fleet and the approaching swarm vessels lit up as the Phoenix engaged the enemy. Miller's consciousness had become deeply intertwined with the alien ship, feeling its systems as extensions of his own body. When he thought of attacking, the Phoenix responded instantly. This is incredible, Miller breathed as the ship released pulses of blue energy that were unlike any weapon Earth had developed. Where the pulses struck swarm ships, they didn't simply explode, instead, their hulls seemed to destabilize at a molecular level, folding in on themselves before disappearing entirely. From the command center on Earth, Admiral Walker and Dr. Reed watched the battle through the Phoenix's transmitted feed. The display showed Miller cutting through the first wave of swarm ships with shocking efficiency. The Phoenix's weapons don't just destroy their targets, Dr. Reed noted, eyes wide with scientific fascination. They seem to be unmaking them at a quantum level. Walker nodded grimly. No wonder the original builders sealed this technology away. The destructive potential is beyond anything we've seen. On the view screen, 5 swarm ships broke formation and surrounded the Phoenix, firing their energy weapons simultaneously. Miller instinctively thought of defense, and the ship's hull rippled, absorbing the energy attacks without damage. They can't hurt me, Miller reported, his voice carrying that strange harmonic quality that grew more pronounced with each passing minute. The ship is feeding me more information about their tactics. The Vex operate as a hive mind, they're adapting to study my attack patterns. As if to confirm his words, the swarm ships pulled back and regrouped. Their formation changed, becoming more complex, harder to predict. Captain, Dr. Reed's voice came through with concern, your neural readings are showing dangerous levels of integration. The alien consciousness within the ship may be merging with your own. You need to maintain separation. Miller didn't respond immediately. When he did, his voice sounded distant. There's so much knowledge here. I can see their homeworld, the stars they've consumed, the civilizations they've destroyed. Miller. Walker's sharp command broke through. Focus on the mission. Target their command ship. With visible mental effort, Miller pulled his consciousness back from the deep connection. Yes, sir. Moving to engage the hive. The Phoenix accelerated toward the center of the swarm fleet where the massive command vessel coordinated the attack. As Miller approached, hundreds of smaller ships moved to intercept, forming a living shield around their command center. I can't get through their defensive formation, Miller reported. There are too many of them. From the Earth fleet, Commander Taylor's voice came through. Captain Miller, this is the EDF Defender. We're moving to provide support. 3 human battleships broke from the defensive line, firing conventional weapons to clear a path for the Phoenix. The brave move caught the swarm off guard, creating a momentary gap in their defenses. Now, Miller. Walker ordered. The Phoenix surged forward through the opening, but not before 2 of the human ships exploded under concentrated swarm fire. Miller felt each loss like a physical blow. Defender is down, he reported grimly. Along with Thunder Strike. As the Phoenix closed in on the hive, something unexpected happened. The massive command ship began transmitting a signal directly to the Phoenix. The alien vessel's systems translated it automatically into Miller's mind. They're communicating, Miller said with surprise. Not in words, but in mathematical patterns. They recognize this ship. What are they saying? Dr. Reed asked urgently. Miller concentrated on the incoming signal. They're calling the Phoenix ancient enemy. They're afraid. The hive suddenly accelerated away from Earth, retreating deeper into the solar system with its protective fleet following. The remaining swarm ships disengaged from battle in perfect coordination. They're pulling back, Walker observed, disbelief evident in his voice. Did we actually win? Miller's response was troubled. No. They're regrouping. The ship is showing me their patterns, they're calling for reinforcements. As the Phoenix returned to Earth's orbit, the celebration among the defense fleet was tempered by Miller's warning. This wasn't a victory, merely a brief respite. The swarm now recognized the threat the Phoenix posed, and they would return in greater numbers. We need to prepare, Miller said as he docked the ship. And I need to understand more of what this vessel knows. Because when the swarm returns, they'll be ready for us. Miller lay in the medical bay, his body drenched in sweat despite the cool temperature. Monitoring equipment beeped steadily around him as Dr. Reed examined the readings with growing concern. His brain activity is off the charts, she told Admiral Walker, who stood at the foot of the bed. The neural connection with the Phoenix is persisting even though he's physically separated from the ship. Walker frowned. Can you break it? I'm not sure we should, Dr. Reed replied. He's processing crucial information about the swarm, or the Vex, as he calls them. If we sever the connection abruptly, we might lose everything he's learning. Miller's eyes suddenly opened, glowing with the same blue energy that powered the Phoenix. They're coming back, he said, his voice echoing strangely. 3 days. They're bringing ships from their outer colonies. How many? Walker asked. Thousands. Miller sat up despite the medical team's protests. But I know how to fight them now. The Phoenix was built by a race called the Architects, who fought the Vex across multiple star systems before disappearing. Dr. Reed approached cautiously. Tom, your body is showing signs of severe stress. You need to rest before attempting another neural connection. Miller shook his head. There's no time. The Phoenix has shown me what happened to other worlds that faced the Vex. They don't just destroy planets, they transform them into breeding grounds, using them to create more ships, more soldiers for their hive mind. Walker helped Miller stand. What are you suggesting, Captain? We can't wait for them to attack again. We need to take the fight to them, hit their gathering point near Jupiter before they can organize their assault. 2 hours later, the Earth Defense Council reconvened. Representatives from around the world listened as Miller, now dressed in a modified flight suit designed to help stabilize his neural patterns, outlined his plan. The Phoenix has shown me the Vex's weakness, Miller explained, his movements jerky and unnatural as he paced before the council. Their hive mind depends on the command ship to coordinate their actions. If we can destroy the hive, the rest will fall into disarray. You've already engaged them once, Representative Patel pointed out. And they retreated. What makes you think you can reach their command ship a second time when they're now prepared for the Phoenix? Because we won't be alone, Miller replied. He turned to Admiral Walker. We need to arm our remaining ships with modified weapons based on the Phoenix's technology. Dr. Reed stepped forward. We've studied the energy signatures from the Phoenix's attack. With emergency manufacturing protocols, we can adapt some of our conventional weapons to mimic a fraction of its capability. How effective will these adaptations be? General Rosa asked. Maybe 10% as powerful as the Phoenix, Dr. Reed admitted. But even that would be substantially more effective than our current weapons. The Council voted quickly. Earth had no choice but to gamble everything on Miller's plan. In the hangar bay, engineers worked frantically to modify the remaining 53 Earth ships while Miller returned to the Phoenix. This time, when he connected to the neural interface, the integration happened almost instantly. The bond is stronger now, Miller reported to Dr. Reed, who monitored his vitals remotely. More complete. That's what concerns me, she replied. Your brain scans show your neural pathways are being permanently altered. We don't know what will happen if this continues. Miller's voice remained calm, though the harmonic undertone had become more pronounced. I understand the risk, Doctor. But without the Phoenix, Earth has no chance. Outside the hangar, the modified fleet prepared for departure. Each ship carried a single energy weapon based on the Phoenix's technology, not enough to turn the tide alone, but together, they might create the opening Miller needed to reach the hive. Admiral Walker addressed the fleet from the command center. This is humanity's final stand. We take the fight to the enemy not just for Earth, but for all the worlds that have fallen before us. If we fail, there will be nothing left to defend. As the ships launched into orbit, Miller felt the Phoenix responding to his anticipation of battle. The ship's systems hummed with energy, almost eager for the coming confrontation. The architects built this vessel as their last hope against the Vex, Miller told Walker through the communication channel. Now it's ours too. As Earth's desperate fleet accelerated toward Jupiter, Miller couldn't ignore the truth any longer. Each time he connected with the Phoenix, more of his humanity slipped away, replaced by something older and vastly more powerful. He kept this realization to himself as the ships entered formation around him, heading toward what might be humanity's final battle. Jupiter's massive form dominated the view screen as Earth's fleet approached the gas giant. The swirling storms on its surface seemed peaceful from a distance, betraying nothing of the alien armada gathering on the far side. Miller, now fully integrated with the Phoenix, sensed the Vex presence before the fleet scanners detected anything. They're waiting for us, he informed Walker through the communication link. 3,417 ships, arranged in a defensive formation around the hive. Walker's voice came through to all ships, all vessels maintain formation. Remember the plan, our modified weapons will create a diversion while the Phoenix targets their command ship. The Earth fleet moved into position, 53 ships against thousands. From within the Phoenix, Miller felt strangely calm. The ship's alien memories had become indistinguishable from his own, providing him with combat experience spanning centuries. Beginning approach, Miller announced. Phoenix will lead the attack. The moment the Earth fleet rounded Jupiter's curve, the Vex responded. Hundreds of ships broke from their formation, moving with terrifying coordination to intercept the human vessels. "All ships, fire on my mark," Walker commanded from the lead cruiser. "Target their forward line, now." The modified Earth weapons discharged simultaneously, releasing concentrated bursts of blue energy similar to the Phoenix's attacks but less powerful. Where they struck Vex ships, the alien vessels didn't immediately destabilize but instead suffered severe damage. "It's working," shouted Commander Lewis from the support ship Dauntless. "Their hulls can't withstand the adapted weapons." The initial success was short-lived. The Vex quickly adapted, adjusting their shields to better absorb the energy. The second volley proved far less effective. Miller pushed the Phoenix forward, diving into the heart of the Vex formation. The alien ship moved with impossible grace, its weapon systems firing in perfect synchronization with Miller's thoughts. Vex vessels disintegrated around him, creating a path through their defenses. "The main fleet needs to follow my trail," Miller instructed. "I'm opening a corridor toward the hive." Earth's ships advanced through the gap Miller created, but the Vex responded with overwhelming force. 3 human vessels exploded almost immediately, unable to withstand the concentrated fire. From her position at Earth Command, Dr. Reed monitored Miller's neural patterns with growing alarm. "Admiral, Captain Miller's brain activity is approaching critical levels. The neural load is becoming too intense." Walker's voice was grim. "Can you pull him out remotely?" "Not without risking permanent brain damage," Reed replied. "And if we lose Miller, we lose the Phoenix." Inside the alien vessel, Miller barely registered the physical pain as the neural connection deepened beyond safe limits. His consciousness expanded, accessing more of the ship's ancient knowledge. Suddenly, he understood something crucial. The Phoenix wasn't just built as a weapon, he transmitted to Earth. It was designed as a key. A key to what? Walker demanded as another Earth ship exploded nearby. "To the Vex network itself," Miller replied. "The architects created it to infiltrate and disrupt their hive mind." As the Phoenix drew closer to the hive, Miller activated systems that had remained dormant until now. The ship's hull began pulsing with complex patterns of light, transmitting signals directly to the Vex command vessel. On Earth, Dr. Reed's monitoring equipment registered a sudden shift. "He's not attacking their ships anymore," she realized. "He's hacking their network." The effect was immediate and dramatic. Throughout the battlefield, Vex ships suddenly lost coordination. Some drifted aimlessly while others began firing at random targets, including their own vessels. "All ships, press the advantage," Walker ordered. Earth's fleet surged forward, their modified weapons tearing through the now vulnerable Vex ships. Miller guided the Phoenix directly toward the hive, which had begun emitting distress signals across multiple frequencies. The massive command ship attempted to retreat, but Miller was faster, positioning the Phoenix alongside its hull. "Initiating final sequence," Miller announced, his voice now barely recognizable as human. The Phoenix extended tendrils of energy that penetrated the hive's exterior, establishing a direct connection to its control systems. For a moment, Miller's consciousness expanded exponentially as he accessed the entirety of the Vex network. The rush of information was overwhelming: stars, worlds, civilizations all connected through the hive mind. He saw the true extent of their empire, stretching across hundreds of star systems. With the last remnant of his human determination, Miller executed the architect's final protocol. A cascading failure began within the hive's systems, quickly spreading to all connected Vex vessels. Throughout the battlefield, alien ships began shutting down, their lights fading as the controlling intelligence collapsed. The few Earth vessels that remained watched in awe as their seemingly unstoppable enemy fell into disarray. The battle was won, but Admiral Walker's repeated calls to the Phoenix went unanswered. Miller had paid the ultimate price for humanity's salvation. Silence hung over Earth's command center as the final reports came in from Jupiter. The Vex fleet had been neutralized completely, thousands of alien ships now drifting lifeless in space. Of the 53 Earth vessels that had joined the battle, only 17 remained. Victory had come at a terrible cost. Still no response from the Phoenix, reported Communications Officer Davis, her voice somber. All attempts to establish contact have failed. Admiral Walker stood before the main view screen, watching as the surviving ships began their journey home. The Phoenix was nowhere to be seen, having disappeared in the final moments of the battle after connecting to the hive. "What about the Vex command ship?" he asked. "Completely inert," replied General Rosa. "Preliminary scans show no signs of power or life. Whatever Captain Miller did, it shut down their entire network." Dr. Reed had barely spoken since losing contact with Miller. Her monitors had shown his neural patterns dissolving into the ship's systems during the final attack, a complete neural integration that no human mind could survive intact. "He knew," she finally said, drawing everyone's attention. "Miller knew he wouldn't be coming back. The Phoenix was designed as a sacrifice weapon, the pilot becomes the key." Walker placed a hand on her shoulder. "He saved Earth, Lisa. He saved all of us." "Sir," Davis interrupted, "we're detecting an anomaly near Saturn's rings." The view screen shifted to show a distortion forming in space, a ripple of energy that grew steadily larger. Earth's defense systems automatically went on alert, fearing another alien threat. "Get me visual confirmation," Walker ordered. As cameras focused on the anomaly, a collective gasp went through the command center. The Phoenix was emerging from what appeared to be a self-generated wormhole, its hull glowing with patterns of light never seen before. The ship moved differently now, more fluid, more alive. "Phoenix, this is Earth Command," Walker transmitted. "Do you copy? Captain Miller, are you there?" For several tense moments, there was no response. Then a voice came through, similar to Miller's but layered with harmonics that gave it an almost musical quality. "Earth Command, this is Phoenix." Dr. Reed leaned forward. "Tom? Is that you?" "Yes and no," came the reply. "I am what remains of Tom Miller, but also more. The architects left memories within this vessel. They foresaw this moment." The command center fell silent as the transformed voice continued. The Phoenix was their legacy, a way to stop the Vex and preserve their knowledge. Miller understood at the end. His consciousness became the bridge needed to activate the final protocol. Walker exchanged glances with Dr. Reed. "Are you saying Miller's consciousness has merged with the ship permanently?" "The boundary between pilot and vessel was dissolved," the voice explained. "What remains is neither fully human nor fully machine. I retain Miller's memories, his dedication to Earth, but also carry the architect's knowledge." As the Phoenix approached Earth orbit, scanners revealed subtle changes to its structure. The ship had evolved, transformed by the interaction between human consciousness and alien technology. "The Vex will not trouble Earth again," the Phoenix assured them. "Their network has been severed beyond repair. But there are other threats among the stars, other races like them who consume rather than create." Walker straightened his uniform. "What happens now?" "I cannot return to human form," the voice replied with a hint of sadness. "But I can continue to protect Earth. The architects explored far beyond your solar system. They left outposts, technology that humanity could use to defend itself against future threats." Dr. Reed wiped away a tear. "You're offering to guide us?" "A partnership," the Phoenix clarified. The architects believed in cooperation between species. They would have welcomed humanity as allies had they survived their war with the Vex. 3 days later, as Earth celebrated its unexpected victory, a special council meeting convened to discuss the Phoenix's proposal. The ship remained in orbit, a visible reminder of humanity's first steps into a much larger universe. Admiral Walker addressed the assembled representatives, Captain Miller's sacrifice has given us more than just victory. It has opened a door to the stars that we never knew existed. The Phoenix offers to share knowledge that could advance our civilization by centuries. The vote was unanimous. Earth would accept the Phoenix's guidance while building a new fleet capable of reaching the Architect's abandoned outposts. The war that had nearly ended humanity had instead become its beginning. In orbit above a healing Earth, the vessel that had once been Captain Tom Miller watched the planet's blue oceans and white clouds with both human appreciation and alien wisdom. The battle was over, but the journey was just beginning.